Hi friends, I'm Felicia. Welcome back to my channel. So, if you've been around for a while, you know that in November of 2016, I was going to start a new series on my channel where I talked about my knitting projects and just like shared that part of my life with you guys. And I posted a video and I have not posted one since. That is almost 3 years. That's really sad. In case you're wondering, my interest and my passion in knitting has only grown since then, has not diminished, so I don't know why I have not been filming videos about this. So I think I would like to film a monthly video, I think about mid-month, just talking about what I've been knitting on, what I finished. I'm not like a super fast knitter. If you watch other knitting videos, I don't know how they have so much stuff to show every week. I sure don't. So it's probably just going to be once a month and I'll just share just kind of how things are going. So we're going to start off with my recently finished projects. So, and I apologize already for the first one I'm going to show you. Actually, maybe if you're here and you're new and you just found this video because of knitting and you're whatever, you don't know me already. Hi, I'm Felicia. I live in southern Manitoba with my husband Chris and our two cats, Storm and Rogue. And yes, they are named after X-Men. And that's basically me. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram. On Ravelry is That Minnow Knits, and on Instagram is Minnow Knits, although I'm more active on my personal account. And that will all be linked down below as well. And yeah, what else should I say about myself? That's basically me. So yeah, I will show you my first finished project. And it's kind of sad because it's socks. I don't have sock blockers, so, and also I've worn them and washed them and my cat has slept on them. And also I have worn them at my sister-in-law's house. She has very long hair and I just found one sticking. Wow, this is really sad. But these are my stripy leftover socks. The yarn for this project is Knit Picks Palette. It's leftover from a cowl that I made. Was it the tilted cowl? And I had leftovers, so I thought I would make stripy socks from the leftovers. And I used up like just about every scrap of the yarn making these socks. So it just worked out perfect. This color is toffee. The yellow is turmeric, and this one's ligonberry. Ligonberry heather. Yeah, Knit Picks palette. Yeah, palette yarn. And I don't love it in my cowl. It's a little bit too rustic for around my neck, but it's still a nice cowl. I do still wear it, but it's not my favorite. But as socks, it's very nice. I used Cristi's stripy sock recipe, which is basically vanilla socks but like stripy yarn. And I actually striped it. I knit 4 rows before changing colors, and then yeah, I cast on 64 stitches and knit them. I started 2 at a time and then I was like, no, this is 4 strands of yarn, this is ridiculous, so I knit them concurrently. And I did my first Fish Lips Kiss Heel, which was very fun. Actually, I quite enjoyed it. And I was intimidated by the 16 pages of instructions, but it's actually very helpful once I actually sat down and read through them. So yeah, these are my stripy socks. I see more Fish Lips Kiss Heels in my future. And yeah, so I had the socks on a chair. I was gonna like take pictures of them, and I had them on a chair, and I heard Storm, she's like lying on the chair also, and I heard her cleaning herself. And then it sounded really rough, and I'm like, she is not licking her fur. She was felting my socks. Can you see? I will focus on that. Can you see this felted spot? The darn cat just felted a piece of my socks. So that's fine. I love her. She's ridiculous. So that's finished project 1. The second project that I finished most recently is my Christmas socks. I feel very proud of myself that I finished them before Christmas. I did buy the yarn last November, and I thought I would finish them then, but I didn't. But anyways, they're for this Christmas. This is the Evergreen pattern by Madeline Gannon. I just have my computer over there with my notes. The yarn is dyed by Local Llama, who actually used to be my next door neighbor, and I didn't know that she was into yarn and knitting until she moved away, and then she was at a craft show that I was also doing last year, and she was selling her yarn, so I bought some, and it came in a set with 100 grams of the main, and then the red was it a 20 gram mini contrast? But yeah, so I'm really happy with how they turned out. I did, let's see if I can maybe show you how this looks. I really love this this pattern. My camera does not autofocus. I love these trees. There's 4 around the leg, and it's kind of subtle, but I really like the way that looks. And then I did just a heel flap and gusset, and this is a cuff down pattern. And yeah, maybe someday I'll have a box of Christmas socks with like 20 pairs, 24 pairs, but you know, it's probably going to take me like 20 years to get there. But yeah, so I'm very excited to wear these next Christmas. And then the last project that I finished recently, just this week, is my Manic Panic cowl. I made this with my Advent yarns from a swap that I did that Cristi from Relatively Crafty hosted last Christmas. And my partner was Tiffany from, what's her podcast called? Serafina, oh my gosh. But she also has a shop, it's called Bling Your String, but her podcast is called different. But yeah. So we did, I'm poor and I don't have an enormous stash. So she agreed to do a 12-day swap instead of 24 days. And so this is made with all of the minis from that swap. As well as I had like a mini amount left over from a pair of stripy socks, and I was like, what am I going to use this for? So I just stuck it in there in the middle. Yeah, the patterns, the Manic Panic cowl by Sarah Core, and it's quite long. And this is just like totally mindless knitting. I loved it. Yeah, it's linen. It's just like a basic linen stitch. Do you need to see my face? This is basically basic linen stitch cowl. Words. And yeah, I blocked it, and it blocked out really nice. And so Chris and I, we went to Edmonton to visit his brother and sister that live out there. And we drove out there, and Chris is wonderful, and he drove most of the time so that I could knit, and I was like, I love you, dear. You're the best. And I worked on this when we were out there. This was like my project that when we were hanging out, this is what I was working on. And I was so close to being done that I decided to just work on it on the way home. I had brought other stuff with. And I was binding it off. And then I ran out of yarn, which I figured would happen. I do that a lot. But I was like, that's okay. I only have a little bit left. I had this much left that I had to bind off at home in a contrast color. Out of all of this, I was so frustrated with myself. And then also, we went and visited my cousin and her husband that live in Lethbridge. So we like drove to Lethbridge and then to Edmonton and then home. And we were having a bonfire, and I decided to knit outside by the fire, and then it got dark, and then I got off on my pattern, and you probably can't see it, but it's about this much here, right in the middle of the pattern is opposite, so it's like raised bumps. It's very funny, but that just goes in the back and we don't talk about it, and yeah, it's all good. So this is, I'm very excited. This is gonna be really cozy and nice for fall and winter. Could probably, it'll just be like nice and under my jacket, like it'll be great. Yeah, so those are my recently finished projects, and I've been talking so long about them. Let's talk about things that I'm working on. I have 6 projects on the needles, but 3 that I'm kind of working on. So the first one here is my Tegna by Caitlin Hunter. The yarn that I'm using, oh hello, is Barocco Modern Cotton DK. But I find this to not be a DK. Like, I think this is fingering, like a heavy fingering. So I'm using it as a fingering weight, and I got gauged, so you know, whatevs. There's stuff happening here. My yarn is tangled up. Oh gosh. What's going on? So my yarn is tangled around here, but let me tell you a story while I try to untangle it. I also brought this project with to Edmonton, and this was our first day of driving. This what I was working on, and I noticed that it was twisted. That was not very exciting for me. That was very upsetting. You know what? I can't figure this out right now, so we'll just leave it. I had probably double this done, and it was twisted, and I was like, how have I been knitting on it this long without realizing that it was twisted? And I have checked this now like so many times. I'm like, this is not twisted now. So I like cried in my heart, not out loud. Chris was very supportive. He really wanted me to find a way to fix it, and I was like, I can't fix it. I can't fix it. It's unfixable at this point. So I sang I Will Remember You by Sarah McLachlan, and I frogged it, and then I cast it on again, and I got this far. So I really am excited. This is my first garment for myself. I have knit baby sweaters before. This is my first adult garment for myself, and I'm excited. The lace, I mean, I'm not, honestly, I love just knitting in stockinette. Like, I'm so basic. I just love to knit in stockinette. And knitting in the round, it's like, yeah, let's just go. Let's just knit. And so why do I have to knit a lace pattern? Like, whatever. But it's going to be so gorgeous. So I'm just, yeah, I'm looking forward to actually having a sweater that I've knit for myself. And hopefully that will start an obsession with knitting sweaters. I'm sure it will. I already have like a few more in my queue that I want to knit like a cardigan, kind of like a tight cropped cardigan to wear with dresses and skirts. And then I have like a few Andrea Mowry patterns that I desperately want to make. Woolen Honey or Comfort Fade or So Faded. Any one of those, and I have all of the patterns. I'm ridiculous. I buy patterns when they're on sale. But anyways, so I have the project in my Wonder Woman bag from Dragon Fiber Bags, and she's actually local to me. I bought this at Manitoba Fiber Festival last year. So, and I love it. It's great. It's quite big. So that's where my sweater is living. Do you want to know the needles that I'm using? Basically, I use Chalgu needles or my Knit Picks Majestic interchangeable needles. Those are the needles that I have that I like. Okay, next project. And this is a bag, my dollop bag from Bling Your String. And I'm working on, what is the yarn? The yarn is some random thing. The yarn is Lang Yarns Twin Socks with 2 X's. And the colorway is a number. And I am knitting the Heel Toe Do-Si-Do socks by Crazy Sock Lady Designs. She is my favorite podcaster, so you should check her out if you like that sort of thing. So these are for Chris. And so far I'm done the cuff. And this is supposed to, I'm kind of debating. The yarn is supposed to be, it's like one ball, and then in the middle it has like just a blank part that you cut out, and then you have two matching. But I don't know why I'm so dumb. And like the tail on this one sock is like long, and then this one's like normal. I don't know why I did that. But so they're not quite lined up, but they're almost lined up. So is that gonna bother me? Is that gonna bother Chris? It's probably not gonna bother him. And I don't know if I feel that bothered. But like, why did I do that? Like, this is probably exactly what would have lined it up. So whatever. I just finished the cuffs yesterday while I was watching Charade with Audrey Hepburn and Cary Grant, which is a very fun movie. And I got one repeat of the pattern, but it's a very fun pattern. But yeah, so that's kind of my vanilla project, but not really. So I don't really have anything right now that's really good, at a good point to just take and go somewhere. But yeah, so that's that one. And then I have a project that I've been working on forever and ever. Like literally I cast this on a year ago, and I'm not that far. This bag, okay, let me see. This bag I also bought at the Manitoba Fiber Festival. Ah, gorgeous. It's made by Sew Into Knitting. Love it. And this is the Lily Pilly pattern by Amba O'Brien. So, and oh, I love it. So I love this pattern, and I can't wait to have this finished project. But, so this is where I'm at. The yarn is Mint Knit Cravings, who are indie dyers in Saskatchewan. So holla Canadian makers. Also all my project bags are made by Canadian makers. The colorways are, this white one is actually like a speckle. Maybe I'll show the balls. So they're all Mint Knit Cravings. So I'm striping with Curtain Call and Cinema. Or did I get it backwards? Curtain Call and Cinema. Yeah, this one has like a faint kind of bluish and yellow speckle, which I really like. And then for the lace section is Harvest. And I'm getting there. The lace section is 10 repeats, and I think I'm on repeat 8. So I just need to like sit down and work on it. And it's not hard. It's just I have to pay attention. But like I can't wait until this is done. This is gonna be gorgeous. But once I've done the lace section, then I can like take this along as my take along project. But yeah, so those are the 3 projects that are my main projects, and I'm like resisting casting on other things, although my queue and Ravelry is ridiculous. But yeah, so those are my 3 main projects. So now I'm going to talk about the things that I have on the horizon. Speaking of my ridiculous queue, I'm really good at speaking English, guys. I think I need some tea. This is my Manitoba mug from Starbucks. Okay, so first on the horizon, I would really like to make the Counterbalance Mitts by Stephanie Lutvin. I bought the yarn for that last year at the Manitoba Fiber Festival. It's Dye For You, I think it's called Choppy Waters is the colorway. Like I have it all set already. It's silly why I haven't started. But it's a beautiful pattern, so I can't wait to get started on that. Hopefully, I might just start it. It's almost winter, and I live in Manitoba, so I need to I need to get working on that, right? Then the next pattern that I am dreaming about knitting is Born Trippy by Beta Jezik. And it just looks gorgeous. And I just want like this big drapey scarf wrap. Like it just looks gorgeous. So I bought a skein, which I will show because I bought it at this year's Manitoba Fiber Festival, which was a couple weeks ago. And I also have some minis that I got, I actually bought, I think it was Grocery Girls, and they had like the swapless mini swap, where someone like buys the yarns and skeins them up and then sends them to you without you actually having to swap with someone. But yeah, I have a bunch of those, so or like one set that I bought. So I'm going to do that with my yarn that I got, and it's going to be gorgeous. And then, maybe I'll just show you the yarn. So then I also have to knit, by like the end of the year, probably, 2 pairs of socks for my sister-in-law. Because she said last year at Christmas that she wanted socks. And then when we were out visiting her, we went to the Fiber Nook in Edmonton, which is like right by her house. I would be in such trouble if I lived there. And she picked out, I told her like, pick from like these. And so she picked, this is Cascade Yarns, Wave. And these are just going to be like, I think the colorway is Graphite. So it's like gonna like kind of fade, which is gonna be fun. But yeah, I'm planning either just like a plain vanilla sock or just like a basic rib. I'm not quite sure yet. I think maybe just vanilla because I need a vanilla sock project. So that's these, and then she also picked this gorgeous mossy green, which is also Cascade Yarns. And these are both Heritage, Heritage Wave and Heritage anyways. Wow. But yeah, and I think this is actually, I'm gonna do the evergreen socks because I think it'll look really nice. It'll be like kind of Christmassy socks for her, and it'll be like a nice touch. And those are basically vanilla socks too, so those are kind of what I'm thinking for that. And I might do contrasty heels, toes, and cuffs for both, but we'll see what I figure out. So those are on the horizon knits. Now I will show you my haul because I actually have one, because the Fiber Festival was a couple weeks ago, as I mentioned. It was so much fun. Yarns falling off of my lap. I love the Fiber Festival. I think that was my 4th year going, and I just love it. So firstly, I will show the fun little things that I bought. Pearl and Hank, I'm like obsessed with all of their stuff, and they had a booth there. And so I bought their stitch markers, and I was specifically looking for these. They're like stamped leather, whatever, on just like a ring, and they're stamped with like yarn over, purl 2 together, slip, knit 2 together, slip knit, knit 2 together, like all of those. And so I'm like really excited to use these because they will be great in shawl projects, I think. I have a shawl that I want to make. It's like a triangle. I want to make it for my mother-in-law, and this will be very helpful with that because I've knit a similar style to that one, and yeah, I just like, that would have helped me with that one. And then I also got, this yarn just doesn't want to stay in my lap. I also got just like a little belt cuff, a shawl buckle. So you just like, I mean, if this was a shawl, then you just like buckle it up so that it doesn't fall off, which is lovely because I don't like adjusting things all the time. So kind of like that, and then you can just be like that, you know, and it looks cool. Oh, that even looks good on there. I'm gonna leave it there with the tag, $26.99. And then I bought a cute little, charm. I'm going to zoom in on this one. A cute little charm from Victorian Studio. And look at it. It's a little jar of peach preserves. It's so cute. I picked this one because my mom used to do tons of canning. And so like peach preserves, when I saw that, it made me think about my mom. So yeah, it's so cute. She didn't do this with the little gingham and the tie, but like, oh, it's so cute. So this is just gonna like hang out on projects. And then the yarn. I only bought 2 skeins of yarn because I went in there with the mindset of I'm buying for specific projects. I wasn't just going to buy just yarn because it was pretty, because then I would have bought a lot more. But I couldn't find like stuff that I wanted. But anyways, so this is Hillary's Magical Yarnorium. This is her Matrix base. And the colorway is Milkmaid. And so it's like this soft pink with like spots of darker pink and like yellow. And this is what I'm going to use for the Born Trippy with the minis. Oh, look at this. Gorgeous. So yeah, I'm just like really excited about this one. It's so pretty. And my jacket is pink, so it'll match. It'll be good. So there's that. And then I also kind of picked that one because I bought this. This is Hedgehog Fibers, Merino Aran, and this is Fool's Gold, which is just my favorite colorway ever. Like, I love it. Just like this yellow, and then like the pink and the green. I love it so much. This is my favorite colorway. Like, I would love a sweater made out of this. But yeah, I'm going to be knitting the Brookmere Toque by Megan O'Decker. And yeah, like, it's gonna look so good on my head. And it will also kind of match this because this has like the flecks of yellow in there. And I'm just gonna be like looking so good this winter. So that's what I got at the Manitoba Fiber Festival. I also met Sarah Shira from Imagine Landscapes. And I was like, hey, it's Sarah Shira. And we chatted for a little bit and she showed me her gnomes and it was awesome. So that was fun. Okay, and then, as previously mentioned, I went to the Fiber Nook in Edmonton. And I showed you the 2 skeins that I got, or that my sister-in-law got for me to make socks for her. But then, I was going to buy this. This is also Heritage, Cascade Yarns Heritage Wave. And this is Nightshade, so it was like purpley. And I was going to buy this, but then she came and took it out of my hands and was like, I'm buying this because I'm paying for the yarn, but now I need to pay for your time. So this is payment for my time, which I will accept. So I will be making socks from this as well. And probably just vanilla because I like vanilla socks and this yarn is gorgeous. Like, look at this purple in the middle. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited about that. And so this is probably like the last time you're going to see a haul from me because that's a lot more yarn than I usually buy. But yeah, maybe hopefully at Christmas I'll have a bit more to show you, you know. But yeah, that's all that I have to show you, to talk about. If you are into knitting and crocheting and other kinds of fiber crafts, stitching, embroidering, like, I would love to know because, like, let's just talk about our hobbies. And I'm going to take this price off my belt buckle. And I love this. This is so brilliant. Now I have a stitch marker. Perfect. So, yeah. I'd love to hear what kind of projects you're working on, if you've made any of these things that I've talked about and your experience. Yeah, it just is really good to knit and talk about knitting and all the things. You see my sign? Read, knit, be happy. That's basically my life. So I think I'm done talking for today. So thanks very much for watching. love to chat about anything in the comments below, anything you think is relevant. And yeah, so that's all for today's video. So until next time, so long and thanks for all the fish. Do I end my knitting videos like that too? That's how I end my book videos. Whatever. It's all good.